Hi, I'm Claire from Wild Ginger Running, the Trail and Ultra Running YouTube channel, and this is my review of the Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G 280. This is Inov-8's first ever trail running shoe to feature their new nitrogen-infused midsole foam, which I think brings them much closer in comparison to the impressive Hoka cushioning like you see in these Speedgoat 5s here. So more on that in a minute. Firstly, at the risk of really annoying Inov-8 and them never sending me a pair of shoes to review ever again, the first thing I just want to note in this review is, does anyone else find themselves sometimes a little bit bewildered at firstly, the sheer number of Inov-8 shoes out now, and the fact that some of them are called really quite similar names? It's like, which one do I go for? So for example, this one, Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G 280, and then there's this other one that I've just got for review now, which is a zero drop shoe. And this is the Inov-8 TrailFly G 270, so no ultra in that. And I just find it really confusing. Like, does anyone else find that? Like, leave me a comment in the film just under the film description below if you're having a brain fade with this, because like at one point I was starting to call this TrailFly the Terrafly, and Inov-8 don't even have a Terrafly. So yeah, basically, can we start a petition on here for Inov-8 to use shorter names? I am just gonna go all out and just call this shoe Brian or something like that. These are my genuine thoughts. I really hope that I haven't offended the good people at Inov-8. I love the shoes. They know I love the shoes. I just want to know if anybody else gets confused by the long names and the overwhelming choice that there is. I just remember the good old days when there was just the Rocklight and the Mudclaw, or whatever we called it back then. So first of all, rant over. Let's go through some specs. So Brian, aka the Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G280, costs an above average £165. So I've reviewed about 25 to 30 trail running shoes in 2022, and the average price came out as £140 now for a trail running shoe. So this is a little bit above that average price there. But the weight is entirely average, just 522 grams for a pair of UK size 6.5s. So that's the pair, not the single shoe. The single shoe is obviously 261 grams. Quick maths there. And the drop from heel to toe is 8mm. So you've got like a 8mm high stack under the heel there. So that's going to suit a really wide range of runners, including people coming from road trainers with potentially a bit of a higher stack there under the heel. So, as I said in the intro there, the first most exciting thing in this pair of shoes, Brian, is the Nitrogen-infused Fly Speed midsole foam. And I have worn this shoe like everywhere. I've probably run and walked approaching 100+ miles in this shoe, including a lot of heavy weighted Finley in the backpack walking in the shoe as well. And these I can categorically say are Inov-8's bounciest ride yet, which is really good for running long distances on fairly straightforward trails. Like I'll come to the grip in a minute, but the grip is not, like hugely boggy, muddy, like mountain off-path running. This is for trails and a wide variety of trails at that, and a bit of road. So there's definitely more of a Hoka type bounce to the shoe. So I put them on at the same time, which I like to do with shoes. And the Hoka padding is definitely, it's more soft. It's more soft and kind of squidgy. This is a little bit firmer. So that I prefer the little bit of a firmer ride in there. So it just depends what you prefer, but I prefer a little bit more of a sort of a rebound propulsive type ride. This new shoe doesn't have the bobbly insole that Inov-8 have just brought out. So the insole is just a normal insole in there. I'm guessing it doesn't need it. This is the new insole with the little bubbles there. In some of the other shoes. So I'm just guessing it doesn't need that insole, but what if it had both? Whoa, maybe I'll try them. I should have done that. So I find that these give like a really good propulsive ride for miles and miles. You could definitely run ultra distances in these, as long as the terrain wasn't too muddy and boggy. We'll come to the grip in a minute. So In particular, I wore these for the Worksop half marathon, and that was on roads and easy tracks, and kind of there was some gritty and uneven surfaces with like light mud and some puddles through Clumber Park. And I found that there was like a really good balance of propulsion and bounce and cushioning from this shoe. So I really like the new nitrogen infused midsole foam. And because in previous Inov-8 shoes, like they do protect you with padding. I wouldn't describe them as overly bouncy. So I think this is a really good step forward. These definitely put a spring in your step. You can definitely notice a difference. The way I would describe it is you sort of feel sort of thrust forwards in these, which I think is a really good thing on trail running on multi-terrain. Thank you if you're still watching, by the way. Thank you for your time. If you could just press the little like button and maybe even subscribe to the channel, that would be super awesome. And if you want tons more information, there is my book as well, The Ultimate Trail Running Handbook. So lots of advice in there as well. So just in case you are still watching, that means that you must be liking the content. So let's get on to the grip now. So the G in the name, the Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G 280, the G stands for graphene. So that is one of the hardest materials around. The grip is tough, but these lugs aren't like, as I said before, they're not like super aggressive mud claw kind of football lugs. They're about 4mm deep. So I would say this shoe is a good all-rounder that can handle a really huge variety of trails. And I'd say it's really well suited to road sections, hard packed trails like canal paths, and like those gritty European switchback trails, rather than your extreme muddy boggy British mountains. I've worn it for over 100 miles for sure, so I'll just put my head torch on so that you can see the grip a little bit better there, because I think it's kind of a little bit dark in the room. So let me just put my head torch on, and hopefully that will make the grip light up a little bit more there. Okay, so originally there was a line through all of the grip, and there's some bits that have worn slightly, like just here and here, but it's really impossible to sort of test this, because I don't know what another shoe would have done if I had worn it for as much as these shoes. So I think that this is it's done really, really well. Like I'm really impressed by the grip, and it's stayed really grippy throughout. So I hope you can see that there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's still plenty of grip there, and 4mm as well, not worn down much at all over 100 miles. So pretty impressive there with the grip. The fit now as well. So I found the fit true to size. Like sometimes in Inov-8, me and my colleague on the channel, Vicky, we found that sometimes you can be like a half size or smaller or bigger in some different Inov-8 shoes, depending on what style it is. But I found like this was really true to fit at 6.5. I just used my regular size. And also the interesting there is the wide fit. This is the widest fit that Inov-8 do on their fit scale. It goes from 1 to 5. But even though it's a 5 on the Inov-8 grip fit scale, the wideness scale, I still feel like my little toe is a little bit pushed in. I feel like it comes in too soon for my foot. Not everybody will feel this way. Like I've been spoilt because I've been wearing Ultra and Topo shoes, which are dedicated wide fit toe boxes. So for most people, this will be a good fitting wide fit shoe. The other interesting thing about this shoe, and I don't know if it's just my foot in particular, because I do have a low volume foot just above the toe area there, but it sort of bunches up here where you draw in the laces. So I'll just turn it sideways so you can see what I mean. It sort of bunches upwards here. I always have to draw the laces in here. So it's just aesthetic really. You can't feel this in any way. It doesn't feel, there's no discomfort or anything. It just looks a little bit odd. But for somebody with a higher volume foot, especially down at that sort of midfoot toe area, I don't think that would be, I don't think you'd get that at all. It's just the way that my feet are different. The laces are really great. It's like really nice, thick, well, flat and wide traditional laces that grip really, really well. I'm really a big fan of these laces. Inov-8 always send me shoes that are done up this certain way. They're laced a certain way, so the lace goes down into the hole, and that's really good for making them hold really well and grip. But I prefer to have them coming up through the lace the other way around, because it's just easier to undo them, to get them on, to make them wide, to get your foot in. So I am going to relace these the opposite way around. There was a tiny bit of lace wear on one shoe, but not on the other shoe. So if I can just show you here, there's this really tiny bit of wear just here, but I just don't think that is an issue on the other side. I maybe have brushed past a stone or something in that, so I don't really think that is anything to write home about just there. That's not going to cause me any bother, any issues, and you know, if it does lace, it's a really cheap part of the shoe to replace, so I don't really think that's an issue there at all. Finally in the review, I did just want to say one thing, which was, how come there's only one colour for women, whereas there's 3 colours for men? So I did think, oh, I don't really know why that is the case. Maybe somebody can comment on here from Inov-8 if they've managed to get past the name rant at the start. But yeah, I just thought, well, maybe there should be 2 for women and 2 for men, just to even it out. But anyway, don't know what that's about. There's 1 colour for women, this nice burgundy colour. So my verdict for Brian, aka the Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G 280, is that these are a fantastically comfy, propulsive, and bouncy option for a great many trail and ultra runners looking to run on roads and hard packed paths and kind of straightforward trails with some light mud and some rocks, and basically anything that's not super deep bog sucking mud. And as with all shoes, just try them on if you can. And if they fit you and if they fit your foot shape, then these are going to last you for miles and miles with that graphene grip, and that bounce in the midsole is amazing as well. So thank you for watching. I hope this review helps you to work out whether the Inov-8 TrailFly Ultra G 280s are for you. Or aka Brian. So for even more shoe reviews, click here, and if you've got any more questions, then just hit me in the comments below and I'll get back to you ASAP. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, and buy my book if you want any more information on trail running. Thank you.